Hello guys and welcome back to TNT Madness. We are back on MadnessMC and it is episode 5. Yay! I just came down here to check to see what our cactus is actually like. I have not opened it yet, but it's obviously full. Obviously. So that means this cactus farm is doing really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell all this cactus, just see how much we get from it. It's probably going to take a little bit. Let's actually just see, it's going to be, yeah, that's quite a lot. That's like 50 or 60,000 just from this tiny area here. So today we're mostly just going to be working a lot more on the base in terms of spawners and that. I have managed to get one day behind in schedule because of like, I screwed up an upload in the last episode. So I don't actually have that much time to do this episode, so sorry if it's going to be a tiny bit shorter. So the first thing we are going to be doing in this episode, however, is actually setting up some sort of floor for this collection area. I'm really happy though that we're like nearly 3 weeks in and the server has pretty much sustained a player base. Like we're only at 20, but this isn't before like any extravagant advertising or before we've done a server event or anything. So in terms of that, it's doing pretty well. Anyway, what I want to do up here is, because we're going to have different types of spawners, there are 3 different ways I want to do this. Well, essentially up here, this will probably be split into like 2 areas. There'll be one where I have a falling area for stuff like creepers, endermen, anything else like that, and then the other area will probably be for iron golem spawners once I actually get enough of them. The other type of spawner farm that I want to do is ones that aren't automatic, which I think I'll do below the collection floor and just have like droppers push them up and have like some automated system, and they can be like grinders like blazes and spiders and all that, just for mostly XP in that. So I'll have to add some layer below here and have a floor below that, and then I don't really know what I'll do with the rest of the space for the base, but I think this is a pretty good idea to start with. We can build on it as we go. Okay, in terms of themes, this one is green, so I want it to translate into different themes as we go up. I'm thinking, since this is green, what we could do is the one above here could be something like maybe blue. And since we've used clay, we might as well just stick down for it. And I'm thinking for the storage room, we could use red. I don't know, but I think it could work. Okay, just thinking again, and taking forever to do it because the chat's just really funny at the moment. I'm thinking actually for this area I could do red and orange, and for down in the storage area I could do yellow. I don't know why, it's just I had a flashback to like 3 years ago where I was looking at an Enderman XP farm and he used his storage system as like yellow clay and it looked really good. So I'm going to try yellow and white in this area and see how it goes. I'm also thinking that originally I was going to have this bit as the roof, but because the packed ice, well, like this area here is not going to go any lower than the packed ice, so I could actually just have the slab here and then have the roof at this height instead of this height, and then have the bottom, I'm thinking, yeah, just like here, or maybe 5 chests, or maybe at this height. I think I'll do it at this height, that sounds good. Never mind, this looks horrible. Absolutely horrible. Maybe I'll just actually scrap the white and go back to red, orange, and yellow. I really don't know. The other thing that I was thinking is that on this side we could just have like all your basic stuff that doesn't need filtered in any way, but then on this side have like, I don't know, 5 blocks inwards, or maybe 4, just because there'll be a lot of things like, let's say, iron golems, where you definitely want to separate the iron and poppies, because they can get very annoying. The only thing with that is you require a bit of space to actually have a filter system. So I'm thinking for like this area, if I have a bunch of different farms that need it, I can just expand this outwards to do that. That's what I'm thinking so far. I still have no idea what I'm going to do on the color scheme though. Okay, I'm going to try a completely different approach to this and use quartz. It's about the only block I'm pretty decent at actually building with. And I feel like making like a really high-class looking room would look pretty cool, and because it's like the main base, well, it's going to be the main base of operations for making money, I don't see why we can't use it. For those that don't know, way back in my fetus days, I made a video that was called the Ultimate Redstone House like version 2. It's for like my 2,500 subscriber special. It's like 2.5 years ago now. Like really long time ago. Like I was actually a fetus. In that, I use quartz for the majority of the house. So I actually feel like I know somewhat what I'm doing with it. It's about the only material that I do. However, I'm probably just going to be doing like super regular boring patterns with it though. So here's an example of what I mean I want the floor to look like. I think this looks pretty decent, and then probably on the wall I'll just do something fancy with pillars, but I think this looks pretty decent. However, the other thing I want to do is like in the corners, like for example this corner here, because all the main stuff's going to be going on in like this, where all the chests are, and here we could have like maybe like a fancy garden in the back or something, or have some extra functional system, like maybe an armor equipper, because let's say I'm getting raided in the real world and I need to get my armor really quickly or something. I don't know, just a few ideas, but we can expand on that over time. Also, the other thing I want to do with a lot of my builds now is make them like more 3D. Like use slabs and that to make it make the roof punch out more, or make it so the floor can punch out more. Because at the moment this is just flat 2D and I prefer like 3D stuff. It's somewhat hard to explain, but once I actually start doing it more, it'll make more sense. Like for example, like having a piston with like slabs around it and then a piece of glowstone above it is like a light source. That could be pretty interesting. Also, because this is going to be primarily a spawner farm, and because people can't actually set homes or teleport inside your base, or at least not to home, so they can still go to spawn, I'm not actually going to be worried about setting up any sort of fancy system to protect my chests. I may add water in front of them just so they can't creep raid them, but you can open chests anyway if you're inside someone's territory if they're not protected, and because they're just going to refill anyway, I'm not super worried about it. It's just way too much effort, or like can take up way too much space and too clunky for something like this. I'll save it for my proper vault system. Yeah, I'm very happy with how this looks. We still have to do that tiny bit, but apart from that, this looks like a decent floor. When I see this, my original thought is like, for anyone that's played chess, knights like move 2 and then 1, so it just feels like a continuous pattern of that, and it's really interesting. Okay, so for some reason my brain just seems to be dying at the moment. I was trying to think of something fancy to do for the roof design, and I'll show you what I'm thinking of doing in a second. However, I was going to use like slabs and like have some sort of like designated areas where you have like one tiny piece, like one bit and then like another bit, like let's say for a chandelier or something. I don't know, my brain can't articulate what I'm trying to say, but the problem with it would be is that I don't know if I want to change the roof. Like let's say if I have a garden here, I might want to make the roof look different so it supports it. I don't know, I just want to have it so it's very easy to expand in the future. However, what I am doing at the moment is I'm going to have this outline where it just alternates between chiseled and non-chiseled, and then I have these pillars just going straight across, and then I'll like work inwards from there. I don't really know yet, but I think it'll look pretty decent when it's done. Okay, now that I've actually done this bit, it looks quite nice. However, I feel like I might just keep doing pillars going back and back and back until we reach the middle. I don't know. Really don't know. Okay, well I think this looks very interesting. I have got like no 3D aspect into it. Maybe I could replace these with like slabs or something, but it's probably just too much. I don't know. There's plenty of space between like the head and the ground, so it's not even that claustrophobic in here, and I'll stick like some lava sources. I will show you what I mean shortly with that. But so far doing alright. It's just I get super easily distracted, so problematic there. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is actually start adding in the chests here and just see what it looks like after that. Sold all my cactus. You make a solid $6,900. This is somewhat sad. These are actually surprisingly expensive and tedious to purchase when you actually want to buy a ton of tripwire hooks to make trap chests, so this price will probably have to go down. Okay, I've just spent a ridiculous amount on hoppers and like just chests and that, so I am very low on money at the moment, so not great, but we should be fine because we're going to be using it on this cactus farm, which we should recoup our values like pretty pretty quickly anyway. So just gonna chuck all these chests down. Okay, so for those that don't actually know how the system works, pretty much if we're gonna have to destroy this hopper, is that, oh, that went away, is that we have a bunch of hoppers facing in a chest. That's the simple part, so they flow below each other, like so. I'm just going to do like the first few because I don't actually have that many hoppers to do all the chests. And then after that, what you do is you go ahead and find like the furthest point away from, I don't know, we'll probably just stick with this to start with, and then start placing hoppers facing into that. So what will happen is that this will be a chain. Once, if I can actually place this last one, like this. So what will happen is that I'm pretty sure it's a 50-50 split, but no matter how these like fill up, what's going to happen is this hopper is going to keep trying to push Cactus along to this point, and then under that the hopper is trying to pull Cactus and put it into the chests. So it's a pretty reasonably simple system. Well, it's actually a really simple system, but that's how you do it anyway, and that's how I'm going to be doing it for these Cactus at least. Okay, so yeah, just we had enough to fill up all these chests except these last two, so I'm just going to stick a cobblestone block there just to represent that we haven't finished this yet. Actually, I might just do a slab. And now, just so it looks a bit nicer, I'm going to actually add slabs on top of here, on top of these chests. The goal with this is, like in real life, you don't really want your components to be seen. So if we stick these slabs above it, sure, we can still open these chests, but no one's none the wiser that we can't. And because we have this, we can actually see the cobblestone through the chests, like so. I'm going to actually change behind that to be quartz as well, but that's gonna take a hot minute as well. But yeah, so far this is looking good, and we've pretty much finished our system for our Cactus, at least for now. I forgot how annoying life is when you don't have an efficiency 5 pickaxe. I really do need to set up some sort of temporary enchantment farm thingy, because this is just hell. This still looks really impressive. Sometimes I'm just tempted to actually stick like glass on here just because of how cool it looks, but obviously we can't do that because especially on this floor we have like hoppers and that behind our chests. Oh, I got so confused building this because from the inside it's going to be this then this if I'm doing an alternating pattern, but because my brain just decided that, oh no, it's actually this then this, I actually ended up putting a chiseled block here instead, so I had to like rebuild this, and yeah, just my brain, I don't know. Okay, I finished that. I'm just about to go have lunch, but I keep making my base look more and more bizarre. I might actually at the end have to make this look better. So apart from this not looking like super bright, which I will fix, I do have a use now for my white clay because I just want this to look finished-ish. Because I'm just going to fill in the areas where I'm going to have chests with just white clay for now as like a temporary block. I think it looks okay. It doesn't have to look super good. It's just supposed to be like a temporary block, and then I can actually, if we start building on this, because it's going to be take quite a while before we actually add all of the chests in. While we are building, like while we are decorating this, it means we can have a rough idea of what the room will look like if by adding like this white clay here. The only thing I don't like about this room is it doesn't have anything to make it pop. It just feels like a giant isolation room, which is not the vibe I want to go for. Okay, so the comment in the last episode, which I can't actually remember what it was, is that I overlooked the fact that I use slabs, and the reason that is a problem is because you want the smallest amount of area, because for example Cactus can land on slabs and that just kills efficiency. So I'm going to replace all of these slabs with these fences just because they may not, I don't know if they're the block with the smallest area, but you want to minimize area, but they are certainly a lot better than slabs. So I'm going to replace all of these with my jungle fences. Okay, I didn't bother recording any of that because that's just a super tedious job, but anyway, it looks a lot better. And, well, it actually does look better. I think it looks better. And now we should have an increase in efficiency. If you are wondering, I do look at the comments because I don't want to do stupid things like that. So, I am sorry for that. The one thing I really want to do with this cactus farm though, oh, no, that happened. Okay, so we are actually making pretty decent progress with this base. However, a lot of the projects I want to do are really big money ones, like Iron Golem Farm, so I think a lot of it is just going to have to be me AFKing, and I'm going to be doing an AFK session later on. But I just feel like a lot of it is going to be just a lot of off-camera work, because a lot of it, repeating stuff is just going to be really boring. I still haven't actually cleaned that up, that's still there. But yeah, doing all this... So, I don't know what parts I should show and what parts I shouldn't show, because sometimes I do play this offline. However, for now, what I'm just thinking is that because we have a somewhat steady income with our cactus farm, we can actually finally finish just this obsidian shell off the top of our base, because it's annoying me so much that it's not finished. So, it's time for a third-person time-lapse. Okay, I'm glad that is done. We've got pretty much most of the shell done for the base. We actually need to bring the bottom of this down to, like, I don't know, the very bottom of the base, below underground. However, I'll probably just cut it off at the bottom of the base. That way we can use that extra space for reverse protection, and we still have like a ton of space if we want to stick any sort of other fun things we want in the base. So this main area at the top is going to be the main vault, up like again like down to here, and just below is going to be most of the spawners, and then probably the rest of the stuff will be just some other fun things we can add to the base. I'm very happy with how we're going at the moment. This thing was probably just as boring to watch as it was to build. However, that is finally done, and I am broke now, gonna have to get some more cactus from the AFK. However, it's still looking pretty good. Okay, unfortunately, just because of like the time constraints I've had today, because I'm trying to catch up a day off going off schedule, so I've essentially only had 2 days or 1.5 days to record this. So I've only been recording for like 7 hours, not my usual like 8 to 10 or more than that. So unfortunately, we can just like call this like a mini episode. We did a little bit, but not really that much. I plan on doing a lot more in the next episode, as there is 4 days till that episode. However, I'm just going to leave this here. And one other interesting thing about this is at Y, why do I press F3? I'll just go tab. It's at Y250 free. That gives us 3 blocks of roof protection. We don't really need roof protection because AC-130s, you have no idea what those are, but they're essentially just a roof buster. So we don't really need much roof protection. We really just need, pretty much basically we just need creeper egg, but obsidian can't be broken by creepers. I don't know, I'm still going to do it anyway because I want to make the strongest base possible anyway. However, that is going to be the end of this, so I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys next time with TNT Madness.